guys, Julia here. Welcome back to another video, and holy bananas, I'm setting up my bullet journal for November today. Like, how did we get here so quickly? I don't even know, but I'm excited for this theme because surprise, surprise, it's not your typical cozy November theme, but I promise it's relevant. The theme this month around is a celebration of small businesses and those like downtown or old town storefronts. And I wanted to work with this theme because of Small Business Saturday this month, of course, but also just wanted to like visually celebrate the resiliency of so many small businesses out there during such a tough couple of years. Whew. But yeah, I did not mean to start rambling off right off the bat. So yeah, let's get into the setup for November.
All right, let's of course start this off with the cover page. Oh, I finally added my little monthly tabs on here so I can quickly get to any month. But the first order of business is tabbing out all the spreads for this initial setup. Each tab is 2 dot grid spaces apart, and I don't know, I just wanted to do something a little fun with this one and make it even easier to flip right to the type of spread I need. Once I have that all sorted, I'm hopping right into the cover page where I'm writing out November multiple times in the style of those like super classic thank you bags you get. Oh, and if you're nerdy and curious, the font that this is based off of is the super clean and classic Helvetica Bold. The trick with this particular design is having all the letters as close as possible. If we're talking design terms, the space between letters is called kerning. So basically we're going with a really tight kern here, and then the space in between the lines are tight as well. And that's called leading. So the space in between the lines of text. But I'm coloring that middle November in with a 0.7 Argent Olive acrylograph in red. And don't forget, I do leave as many supplies as I can down in the description if there's anything you want to check out for yourself. This page also serves as a little quote page, and it's just have a nice day, because that's what you find on those little thank you bags, and it's just a classic, wholesome, nice quote. So yeah. On the opposite page, I'm busting out my jelly gouache and blocking in some color for a cute little storefront. And I do have 2 jars of water here. One is to, of course, clean brushes, but the other one is used to control the transparency of the paint. I'm probably not the best at explaining painting techniques, but I can say that a tip with gouache is to remember that the water doesn't really lighten up your color. Water is used to make it more transparent like watercolor. It controls the consistency. You would lighten up your colors using white paint. And then for the blending, I just put down the second color about where I want it, and then I just go in with a clean damp brush to blend the colors out a bit. Sometimes a straight up dry brush will do the trick as well, so you'll see me use that technique quite a bit here. So yeah, while I'm getting these colors down for the storefront, Small Business Saturday is an American holiday that's the Saturday after Thanksgiving here. So this year it's November 27th, and it's just a shopping event that encourages people to prioritize small and local businesses, and it's been around since about 2010. There's also a Small Business Saturday UK that started in 2013. But aside from owning a small business myself, I work alongside just a ton of small businesses here in New Mexico and around the United States, and I just think it's super important to support small businesses. It's literally a fact that every dollar spent at a small business returns more money to the local economy versus shopping at a big box chain store. Plus, you just know you're making someone's day, you're supporting someone's dream more directly, and it's just fantastic. So yeah, throw some of your favorite small businesses or Etsy shops down in the comments, and let's support some dreams, people. But back to the journal here, I'm outlining everything with a Staedtler pigment liner, and I'm not gonna lie, I tried to do this with a few different fine liners, and it was kind of hard to find something that would show up solid on top of the gouache. But yeah, this did the trick and was super solid in one pass. Now this is a rare sight too. I'm using a Sharpie on top of the gouache, and that seemed to work well too without bleeding through the paper. Typically a Sharpie would bleed through even this 160 GSM paper, but since we have the gouache there, it gives us a few more layers, so nothing to fear in this case. I also thought it would be really clever for the building to be 1121 because November 2021, you know? I was quite pleased with myself for this. But while we're here and the paint is still relatively fresh, I'm going to go ahead and paint in all the different tabs for this setup. I'm using washi tape to keep a clean edge, and although it looks super fast here, the magic of editing, I am waiting for each one to somewhat dry before moving on to the next one. And I just loved how this turned out, even though at first the tab pages were a little difficult to stay down because of where I am in the journal, I guess, but I'm really pleased with how it turned out. All right, guys, on to the monthly spread, and yeah, I'm throwing in my typical grid, but your girl just got lost in the sauce while doing this. You'll notice that I'm throwing in 6 days because apparently the 7th one just doesn't exist, and then writing in the days, I just skipped over Monday, so I didn't even notice that this calendar was just totally trash until I started numbering the days. Literally, how did I not notice? I don't even know, y'all. But after having a minor breakdown and staring at the calendar for some minutes, I decided, hey, learning moment, any spread can be fixed, so here we go. First things first, I'm adding in that 7th day, and then another mistake happened in my panic. I didn't have my ruler straight and jumped a dot grid space, so we'll come back to that, but I just started darkening up the days and the numbers, and then writing over that with the white gel pen, which the white gel pen is a must, not only for aesthetic reasons, but also for fixing up mistakes. And I ended up painting over that little ruler mishap over on the right and making it into like a side of a building where a little blade sign for November could stick out, which actually was the plan from jump, but the sign just had to be a little smaller with the correct number of days in the calendar. So that worked out pretty well, luckily. And then one more thing had to go wrong. The paint just wasn't completely dry and I smeared it a bit with my hands, but at this point I'm just like, whatever, let's move on. So along the bottom, I'm drawing out a somewhat simple downtown scene, and I'm using the Tombow Furunosuke pen for that because when I go back over it with Tombows, the black of the ink doesn't smear into the colors at all, and I'm pretty sure this is the only pen that I own where that's the case. So hot tip there for sure if that drives you nuts. But as you'll start to see, I'm keeping the color palette pretty consistent throughout and just using lighter and darker shades of the same colors to keep that consistency with the theme, but also having some variety. I decided to go pretty balls to the wall with the decoration. Even after the facades were completed, I added tape, dots and squigglies, of course, and even some larger light blue circles to give the impression of the sky without coloring the entire page in. And yeah, dude, I guess I saved what was definitely a tragic beginning of a monthly spread and really loved how it ended up turning out. Okay, flipping that over, fresh start, the night log. So for the header, I'm whipping up a sort of vintage diner or theater sign. I'm building up layers using both Tombows and the new Artron Olive Calliographs brush pens. And sorry, not sorry, my unrealistic white highlights because they have to make an appearance in every theme in every video, I guess. But I thought it would just be cute to do a little open late sign dangling from the main header, just because we do eat dinner pretty late, not gonna lie. But I do take 2 dance classes per week and they're pretty late in the evening, so it feels too early to eat before the classes. But yeah, over explaining that, but I thought it was a cute idea. But on the next page is where I keep all of my trackers for habits, social media, and my yearly focus areas. I've got the habit trackers set up sort of like a strip mall sign or a downtown marquee sign where you can see all the shops in the area, but of course I'm going to be tracking habits here instead. The bottom tracker is for a habit that I want to do at least 10 times in the month versus every day, so that's why that one is shorter. And if you're curious, I am writing in the numbers for the habit trackers with a micron fine liner in the smallest tip size 003. So under that, I have my YouTube and Instagram growth trackers and then my yearly focus chart down along the bottom. I've mocked that one up like a little building as well, with the header being the building sign. But once I have that, I'm finishing this spread off with the usual accents for the month. And I did want to mention that the blue grid washi tape was probably overthought, but it reminded me of like building blueprints. So I had to use it and I was quite pleased with myself that I thought of it. Okay, the next spread is a work dashboard spread along with the page for notes. For the header, I'm drawing in a vintage style cash register. Obviously, clients pay us to do work, so I thought it was a fitting header. Plus, I'm sure you'll find a cash register in most brick and mortar small businesses. I wanted to do a vintage style cash register versus a more modern one just for aesthetics. But basically, this spread is to track major design projects we're working on and where we are with them. So the right side of the chart is where I'll mark if the project is being actively worked on, then proofed out, edited, and then finally exported and delivered. I've only started doing this last month, and so far so good. I'll report back when I have more thoughts about how this is working out for us. But yeah, down along the bottom is a chart to track monthly invoices that need to be sent out at the end of the month. For the notes page, I'm just going to spruce it up a bit with a little flag garland along the top. And then in the bottom corner, I'm doodling in a little sidewalk chalkboard sign. And of course, you see these outside of coffee shops and just little boutiques and stuff. So I thought it would fit the theme quite well. But I'm pasting in a little black piece of cardstock just because the white gel pen just shows up so nicely on this paper versus if I colored it black first with, say, a Tombow or something and wrote on top of it that way. It works, but I just knew this would pop a bit more. But yeah, after this, usual accents, and this one is done, and I love how this little chalkboard turned out. All right, the last spread this time around is of course the first weekly spread, and I've been loving this sort of modified rolling weekly spread, so I'm rolling with that. First, I'm setting up a table for events and for day-specific tasks, and I'm gonna be using this month's functional sticker set for the numbers. My patrons get these stickers first every month, and then the set will be available in my Etsy shop on November 1st. But this events table is set up in a way where the top and bottom are gonna be like a storefront, of course, but the day numbers are also like blade signs coming out of the building. I don't know, again, probably overthought this one, but I do like how the events block just meshes into the theme. And yeah, same techniques I've been using throughout here. I am running the rolling task list along the spine of the journal, and I've done this a few times in some of my other weeklies that I haven't filmed, but you would think running lines across the spine would be annoying, but it's really not bad at all, honestly, and it gives me some extra planning space to the right of the spread for more targeted task lists. But yeah, the header is a play on the "Yes, we're open" signs, and then down on the right, I have a few different lists for YouTube, Patreon, and Etsy, our upcoming Christmas trip to Europe, yay, and a little notes section. And then of course finishing this one off with our dots, squigglies, washi tape, and sky blue circles. So yeah, that's this first weekly spread and the monthly setup for November. And then of course the stickers for this month are super fun and match right up to the setup for this month, making recreation super easy. The highest patron tier also gets a fun die cut sticker every month, but along with stickers, patrons get printables, blank calendars, flip throughs, and they get to pick upcoming themes, which is fun. Check out the link in the description for more about my Patreon if you want to join the collection. But let's flip through the spreads for this month. I'm super excited about how this one turned out. Let me know which spread is your favorite. Like I said earlier, there's a big Christmas trip planned, so I'm gonna try to pre-film some stuff, but you never know, things might be late. But thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that jazz, and I'll catch you all in the next one. And if you like this video, here are a couple more I think you would enjoy.